Hi, my name is Rich Harrington, and let's take a look at how Lightroom and Luminar can work together. In this case, I have a large HDR panorama, so I'm going to take advantage of the tools inside of Lightroom for stitching. You'll note, for example, that you could choose Photo Merge and merge an HDR, a panorama, or an HDR panorama, which is what I have here. The images will be analyzed and stitched together into one new DNG file. Luminar fully supports DNGs, so it's easy to bring this file directly into Luminar. The new HDR panoramic image is presented. If I'd like, I could take advantage of boundary warp here to start to fill in some of those edges and remove the gaps. Let's choose the Create Stack option and click Merge. Here we go. If we open this up, you'll see the individual HDR files that were created and the merged panoramic image. Now in this case, I have a couple of choices. Lightroom can hand off things to Luminar using the Photo Edit In command. However, what this does is invoke a plugin and sends over a TIFF file. And this is the way that most plugins work, and it simply exchanges a high quality TIFF. But in the case here of having a great new DNG file with all this high dynamic range and panoramic goodness, why would I send over a TIFF file? One of the ways that Luminar stands out is that it offers another way. Just choose File, Plugin Extras, and you'll see an option here that says Transfer. You can actually send the raw file or the DNG file directly into Luminar 3. There it is, and you see the data is handed off. Now that I'm here in Luminar 3, there's a few things I can do. From the Looks collection here, I'm going to choose the Landscape collection. This gives me a series of presets that are well designed for landscapes. And let's select the AI Landscape Enhancer. I'll also use the Accent AI filter here to dial this in. DNG files sometimes run a little bit dark, so let's add the tone adjustment. And we'll just drag this up to the top. And I'll also add Raw Develop. This gives me complete control over the image, and I can easily dial in the correct exposure for the raw file. That looks great. You'll see that lens correction is also being applied, and you can take advantage of chromatic aberration removal if you have high contrast areas. The Accent AI filter does a great job of filling in some of the uneven parts of the landscape, and the Sky Enhance filter just targets the sky and helps bring out definition and color in the clouds while also bringing out the contrast in the sky. That looks really good. Next, if you want, there's Foliage Enhancer for targeting vegetation in a scene. In this case, you see I can bring that down a little bit, as well as a polarizing filter to cut through some of the glare. I like the adjustable gradient filter, which lets me target the horizon so I can easily make a separate adjustment on the top. For example, a little dip in exposure, and conversely, lift the bottom, but put a little contrast in. I can also separately warm or cool the areas, putting a little bit of warmth there into the foreground and a little bit of coolness into the sky. Now, Smart Tone is an excellent way if you want to refine the middle exposure, and you see that none of the colors are shifting. This is the key benefit of Smart Tone, the ability to adjust exposure without seeing a shift in saturation. All right, that's looking great. And if there's anything else you'd like to do, you can easily tackle it here. For example, let's apply a vignette. And this gives me great control to darken the edges with a gentle feather and a little bit of inner light to brighten up the middle. All right, that looks great. If you'd like, you also have the ability to choose the Free Transform command. This will allow you to manipulate the panorama a little bit. In this case, I notice that it's a little bit squashed, and that's how Lightroom interpreted it. But I can easily start to drag and recompose here to get the type of view that I'd like. That looks great. And let's go ahead and switch to the crop tool. And we'll crop away some of that area from the top. We'll just unlock the aspect ratio here and bring it in a little bit from the top and the bottom. There we go. And I'll choose Done. You'll notice that the vignette automatically updates to match the crop. Now, once I'm satisfied, I could send this over, but there are a couple of great filters I'd like to point out. First up, golden hour. Golden hour is a great way to really bring out the warmth of the sun. And let's go ahead and bring out one more filter, the details enhancer. This is a great way to target details. For example, the medium details here, while toning down the large details, and we'll bump up the small. If I toggle that on and off, you see it just acts like a sharpener without introducing any noise. It allowed me to bring out the depth in the medium and small details without putting much into the sky. Now, there's all sorts of other controls. Things like advanced contrast make it easy to target a specific area. In this case, we'll bring out the clouds just a little bit and put a little more contrast into the shadows. That looks good there. And when satisfied, I can click Apply. The image is rendered and returned back to my Lightroom catalog. It may take a few seconds depending upon the complexity of the filters that you've applied, but you see there it is returned. Let's compare that. Here's the Lightroom version, which looks okay and has a lot of detail, and the Luminar enhanced version. And remember, you can continue to use the Develop module over in Lightroom. So if you'd like to refine things, you can. For example, maybe I'll target the saturation here of the aqua and just tone that sky down a little bit with the blue and aqua sliders. And I like that. So as you see, an easy way to integrate Lightroom and Luminar together.